When we are transforming a quadratic function, we have something called its vertex form that we use for its transformations. So here we have its vertex form, that f of x equals a times the quantity of 1 over b times x, subtract h, quantity squared, plus k. So each variable in the problem represents a significance in its transformation. So the a, if it is negative, is going to be a reflection over the x-axis. If it is a whole number or a number that is bigger than 1, then it's going to be a vertical stretch. And if it is a fraction between 0 and 1, it'll be a vertical compression. The 1 over b, those are our horizontal stretches and compressions. Now remember in chapter 1 when we were doing these and rewriting the linear functions, we put all of the factors in the denominator underneath of that 1. So here when it says a horizontal compression and it has whole number, that means it's going to look like a whole number because of that keep change flip. So anything that is inside the parentheses next to the x that looks like a whole number is going to be a horizontal compression. And then anything that looks like a fraction is going to be our horizontal stretch. So then when we're identifying these transformations, we're going to have to flip those fractions or those whole numbers back to what they should be to indicate the correct factor for either the compression or the stretch. We also have a minus h, so that's going to be our left and right. Remember, we add to go left and we subtract to go right. And then on the outside we have the k, which is our up to go positive and our down for our negatives. So add for up, subtract for down. So now in our next set of examples, we are going to start identifying all of the transformations using the vertex form. But we're just going to concentrate on either it being a reflection, going left or right, or up and down. We will come back to the stretches and compressions later. So in number 1, I like to do these by going all the way from the left to the right. That way I don't miss any kind of transformation. So if I look in front of my parentheses, I have nothing, so I'm not going to worry about a reflection. Inside my parentheses, I have an x subtract 3. So we know that the subtraction indicates a right 3 units. And then we have a plus 1 outside, so that'll be up 1. In number 2, I look out front of the parentheses again, and I don't have anything there. So I'm going to move inside my parentheses for the x plus 7, so that'll mean that I'm going left 7 since I was adding. Outside, I have a subtract 2, so down 2 units. If I look at number 3, in front of my parentheses this time, I do have a negative sign. So the negative indicates that I'm going to reflect over our x-axis. And then I can look inside of my parentheses and I have an x plus 4. And the addition again means that I'm going left 4 units. In number 4, I just have the x squared subtract 3. I have no parentheses. So since the parentheses are absent, I cannot go left or right. I have no negative sign in front of that x squared either, so I am not reflecting. So I'm just going to be going with the minus 3, which means that I'm going down 3 units. In number 5, I have a negative sign again in front of my parentheses, so that is another reflection over our x-axis. And then I have an x subtract 8, so that means I'm going to go right 8 units. And then I have a plus 9, so I'm going to go up 9. In number 6, I have a similar problem to that I had in number 4. So I have no parentheses again. I have no negative sign in front either. So I just have a plus 4, which means I'm going to be going up 4. In our next set of examples, we're going to be adding in the compressions and stretches. So it's going to be extra important that we go all the way from the left to the right and that we identify if we have parentheses or not, because if we do not have parentheses, that means it will be nothing horizontal. So no horizontal stretch or compression or left or right. So if I look in number 1, I have a 2 in front of my parentheses. So since it is in front and it is a number bigger than 1, it is going to be a vertical stretch by 2 units. When I move inside the parentheses, I have an x subtract 7. So I know the minus sign to be right 7 units. And then I have a plus 1, so up 1 unit. If I look at number 2, I have a negative sign again. So I have a reflection over our x-axis. I also have a 1/2. So that 1/2 we're going to think of as being positive. We want to take its absolute value. Since it is a fraction between 0 and 1, that'll be a vertical compression by 1/2. If I move inside my parentheses, I have an x plus 3, and I know the plus to indicate a left 3 units, and then I have a minus 2 on the outside to indicate a down 2. In number 3, I have a negative sign in front of my parentheses, so that's another reflection over our x-axis. Now inside of my parentheses, I have a whole number 4 in front of my x, so that's going to indicate either a horizontal stretch or compression. Since it looks like a whole number, that is actually going to be our horizontal compressions, because we want to think the opposite. So when I write my factor here, I need to flip that positive 4. So whole numbers are 4 over 1. So when I flip that, it becomes a fraction of 1 over 4. So we have a horizontal compression by 1/4. In G, I am absent my parentheses, so that means I can't do anything horizontal. So no stretches or compressions, and no left or right. So I have a fraction of 1/3 in front, and all that's going to mean is it is a vertical compression by the fraction of 1/3. In number 5, we look in front and we have another negative sign. So the negative means that we are going to reflect over our x-axis. When I move inside of my parentheses, I see that I have a fraction. So since it looks like a fraction, it's going to be one of our horizontal stretches. Now to get that factor, I need to flip that fraction of 1/4, and it's going to give me the whole number positive 4. So I have a horizontal stretch by 4. And then outside I have a plus 3, so up 3 units. 6 is very similar to number 4. I have no parentheses again, so I can't have anything horizontal. So that means it's going to be something vertical, and it's bigger than 1, so it's a vertical stretch by 4.